You're watching Reason and Theology Live, a show dedicated to charitable discussions, debates, interviews, commentary, and analysis. The show concentrates on theological topics, historical matters, and philosophical problems with content ranging from introductory material to in-depth examinations. And now, your host, Michael Lofton.
Hey everybody, welcome back on a Friday morning. Hope everybody is having a good day so far. I wanted to do a show on a what if scenario. Namely, what if an Orthodox, that is an Eastern Orthodox, scrolled through a Catholic comment section these days? Let me set up the scenario here. Let's say you have an Eastern Orthodox who is reading the Church Fathers, reading the Ecumenical Councils, and comes across a consistent teaching of popes, and again, admissions of some of the councils, that the Apostolic See, that is Rome, is the See of Unity, which is, of course, reiterated Vatican I. It's without blemish. I mean, literally, that's actually one of the things that's said about the Holy See. Without blemish, indefectible in faith and morals. Gates of hell won't prevail against it. To be out of communion with Rome, to be out of communion with the Pope, is to be out of communion with Christ's church. I mean, these are things that we can find in the first millennium being accepted by Eastern bishops. Not all. Certainly, it's there. And it's also something that saints who are accepted as saints in the Orthodox Church, things that they would have said about Rome. So let's say they're seeing all this, they're studying the papacy historically in the first millennium, and they come to the conviction, okay, I really need to look more into Catholicism because it really seems like I need to be in communion with the Holy Father, the Roman Pontiff. So let me scroll through some of the videos that I'm seeing on YouTube, and let me maybe read some of the comments. Here's something. As an Orthodox who often scrolls through Roman Catholic comment sections, I'm intrigued. Confirm for me if this is true, what you're about to see. Somebody else says, got into an argument with an Orthodox this morning about this. Got into an argument with an Orthodox this morning. So can be frustrating. New Gloff, I guess you're saying that you got into an argument with an Orthodox about this issue, maybe. Not going to name names, and not going to include any the names of the commenters or anything like that. All I'm going to do is show some snippets of some comments that I came across in less than 5 minutes. I'm scrolling through 3 different Catholic channels, popular Catholic channels. So it's stuff that Orthodox I know watch and see, especially because they've told me, but also because they're, larger channels. But what I've done is I've snipped out just the comment and I've excluded the commenter's name so that they don't feel like I'm putting them individually on blast. I'm just using their comment as an example. And I'm not going to identify which videos they came on because it's not about the video itself that it came from. What this is about is here's what an Orthodox is going to see who is currently studying the papacy in the first millennium, and they're interested in Catholicism. They're already going to have some difficulties, period, from the outset, right? They're going to have some difficulties with some of the things they're seeing from Pope Francis, some of the things they're seeing from our bishops, the bishops in Germany, aside from theological questions that they're going to have to work through, like the filioque and stuff like that. So they're already going to have some difficulty here. And again, it's not like the Pope and our bishops are doing us favors here. They're certainly making evangelism difficult. That being said, let's see if we add fuel to the fire or if we're adding water to the fire. Let's take a look here. Again, came across these in less than 5 minutes. About 22 comments in less than 5 minutes. All right, let me share my screen. Zoom in a little bit for you there. Francis the Destroyer, a bold description and so accurate. So the first thing that somebody is going to see here is, I've been reading that Rome is the Sea of Unity. But now I have Catholics saying it's basically destruction. It's a destroyer. Okay, maybe that's just their opinion. Let me move on. See what else there is here. He's not the vicar of Christ. At least that's where I stand today. I've given him the benefit of the doubt more times than I can count, but not anymore. May God have mercy on his soul, and he is not likely long for this world. The damage he has caused and the countless souls that he is leading astray are on his shoulders. So wait. Again, I thought I was reading in the first millennium, Sea of Unity, without blemish, gates of hell won't prevail against it. I need to be in communion with this, or I'm not in communion with Christ Church. But he's not even the Pope. He's not the vicar of Christ. Okay. All right. Maybe that's just their opinion. The Holy See is vacant since 58. I guess they mean 1958. For those who are scandalized only by this poor old man today, please know that his 5 predecessors did it as well, some with their actions, some through books, intellect, and great dialectics. So wait. Catholics haven't had a pope since 58, and 5 predecessors prior to Pope Francis were also destroying the church? Interesting. Okay. So where is the Catholic Church again? If there isn't a pope, and I want to be part of this Catholic Church that has a pope, where do I go? Not really sure. I'm confused on that one. I was convinced he is an anti-pope a few months back. He keeps on coming. So I'm supposed to leave communion with my bishop and my patriarch to join somebody who's an anti-pope. And I thought that the Catholic Church was easy to identify because you look to where the pope is. But if he's an anti-pope, who's the real pope? Well, I've heard some people say that Benedict's the pope. Okay, so I need to join communion with Benedict, even though Benedict's not going to pastor my soul, because Benedict doesn't believe he's the pope. So I need to join a pope who doesn't believe he's the pope. And somehow I'm going to join him when I don't know how to join him, because none of the bishops in the Catholic Church believe he's the pope. Somehow I need to just spiritually unite myself to Pope Benedict, I guess. Okay. Bergoglio is having a great time dancing with the devil. Again, I thought that I was reading that Rome was indefectible, Sea of Unity without blemish. He's dancing with the devil. So I need to leave my bishop, who seems to care for my soul, seems pretty orthodox and solid. We have a really great liturgy. And I need to leave to be part of somebody who isn't the Pope, who's dancing with the devil. And maybe if I am not supposed to be with him because he's not the Pope, then which Pope am I supposed to be in communion with? How do I enter into communion with Rome when there isn't a Pope of Rome? All right. For me, this is the final line crossed. He can no longer be Pope after this. No way. God bless. Gee, it seems like there's a lot of Catholics who think that Pope Francis isn't the Pope anymore. I'm not sure what to do here. Anyone who says Bergoglio is the Pope after knowing what he did is plain and simply delusional. So I'm going to be delusional if I think that Pope Francis is the Pope. Again, if he's not, where do I go? Communion with Benedict? How does that work since no bishop believes they're in communion with Benedict? And Benedict won't pastor my soul anyway because he doesn't believe he's a Pope. The Orthodox priest called it when he shouted, "You're a heretic." Oh, I remember that. Wasn't that there was an Orthodox priest who, whenever Pope Francis was entering into a building, he screamed and called him a heretic. And then later on, he gave an interview saying the reason why he called Pope Francis a heretic is because he believes the Filioque. So I guess this Catholic doesn't believe the Filioque. Or maybe this Catholic is also a heretic, according to the Orthodox priest. But the Catholic agrees with the Orthodox priest that Pope Francis is a heretic because he believes the filioque. I wonder, so do Catholics not accept the filioque anymore? Do they think that's heresy? And why are they appealing to us? I thought we were in heresy and schism. Why are they appealing to Orthodox for the standard of what is Orthodox and what's heresy? Huh. Sounds like I need to stay Orthodox. I don't know. I'm supposed to leave my bishop that Catholics are saying is in heresy to join a pope who's in heresy. Huh. So I'm going to leave one heretic and go into communion with another heretic and listen to an Orthodox who they're going to say is a heretic. And the Orthodox is saying Catholics are heretics because of the filioque. And the Catholics are defending the Orthodox priest for saying this. I'm confused. Okay. Bergoglio is not the Pope. The sooner you understand that, the better. Benedict is the real representative of Jesus Christ on earth. Okay. So I guess, again, I need to enter into communion with Pope Benedict in order to be part of this sea of unity without blemish, indefectible in faith and morals. Gates of hell won't prevail against it. How do I enter into communion with Pope Benedict? He doesn't believe he's Pope. He's not going to shepherd my soul. He's going to tell me he endorses Pope Francis's papacy. So the person who's actually supposed to be the Pope is pointing me to an anti-Pope. And none of the Catholic bishops believe that Benedict is the Pope. But if he is the Pope, he's pointing me to the anti-Pope that they're all in communion with. And so I'm supposed to leave communion with my bishop to join somebody who won't pastor my soul in any way, shape, or form because he doesn't believe he's the Bishop of Rome. Okay. Francis is going to be in for a rude awakening when he meets his maker. Oh, it sounds like Pope Francis has been doing some really bad things. I don't know. My bishop's pretty good. I kind of feel like my bishop is probably going to be made a saint one day in the Orthodox Church. So I'm supposed to leave my bishop to go in to communion with somebody who's in a rude awakening with their maker. What does that say about me if I go into communion with him? I think it is manifest that Bergoglio and all those prelates are excommunicated. So the Pope's excommunicated? I thought that no one judges the See of Rome. That's at least what I've been reading. And now he's excommunicated. By whom? I've heard some say that he's excommunicated, by himself. He excommunicates himself because of his own behavior. That's weird. So who am I supposed to be in communion with? I guess I'll just stay put where I'm at. Because it sounds like the prelates are in communion with him were excommunicated. And so is the Pope. So sounds like I need to stay put where I'm at. Oh, here's another one. Yes, Bergoglio chose the name Francis to announce his arrival, the destroyer sent by God in 2 Thessalonians 2. Apostasy, then tribulation. If Gregory Wilton, next Pope, then put a fork in it, done. Well, it sounds like he's saying that Pope Francis is the destroyer sent by God. I don't want to be in communion with the destroyer. I'm supposed to avoid the destroyer in 2 Thessalonians. Guess I'm on the right side of the debate here by remaining Orthodox. Whatever he says won't matter anymore, as we know he is not the Pope. It really seems like there's a lot of Catholics who don't believe Pope Francis is the Pope anymore, so why should I? Nothing surprises me anymore regarding Francis the heretic. Pray for his conversion before it's too late. So the Pope has to be converted? But I thought, again, this was something that I was reading about was indefectible, without blemish, and was the Sea of Unity. So now the person who's over the Sea of Unity is a heretic? Again, I thought my bishop and I was a heretic, according to Catholics. But they're telling me I need to leave my heresy to join a heretic. How does this work? I thought that if you're in communion with a heretic like this, then I thought that you're a heretic too. Huh. Okay. I have a difficult time. He is a real pope. Oh, so here's another one who doesn't really believe that he's the pope. The Greek Orthodox priest called him a heretic. I'm inclined to believe he is. Well, here's another one who's saying that the Orthodox priest who called Pope Francis a heretic because he believes the Filioque, that Orthodox priest is right. But the Catholic Church still professes the Filioque. So I guess the Filioque is heresy according to Catholics now. And I'm supposed to go from heresy to another heresy. And I guess this Catholic doesn't believe in the Filioque because that's what the priest was talking about. So I wonder if this Catholic is going to become Orthodox soon. Maybe he'll be joining me. We need a Catholic Pope now. Well, that's what I was looking for. I was looking for a Catholic Pope. I was studying the first millennium, and it says I have to be in communion with the Pope. And if I'm not in communion with him, I'm not in communion with the Catholic Church. So where do I go? If he's not the Pope, what do I do? I think this is the first time in history that a Pope makes war on the pious. Well, I'm a pious soul. At least I hope to be. So I guess I shouldn't go into communion with a Pope who is going to make war against me. My bishop is not making war against me. I guess I should just stay with him. Because I definitely don't want to be in communion with a Pope who's going to make war with me. That doesn't sound like a sea of unity. That sounds like a sea of destruction. And I thought that was rejected by Vatican I and the fathers there. I thought that they were saying the Pope could never be that, a sea of pestilence. But I guess this one is saying it is a sea of pestilence. He's making war on the pious. So I guess Vatican I's wrong. I guess the fathers at Vatican I were wrong. Well, those are the suspicions that I already had because we Orthodox think that Vatican I is wrong. So I guess they're admitting that Vatican I was wrong after all. So maybe I shouldn't be Catholic. Somebody's asking me where are these coming from. Again, they come from 3 different Catholic YouTube channels that I just pulled up in less than 5 minutes. I found these. Seriously, less than 5 minutes. There was way more. There were some positive ones too, right? But I don't think those positive ones are going to do a whole lot to offset these that you can find in less than 5 minutes. I mean, again, 22 of these in less than 5 minutes. Francis and his self-promoting sycophants are the problem. Well, I don't want to be in communion with a sycophant. My bishop's not a sycophant. That doesn't sound promising. I didn't think that the Pope would be a sycophant. In the future, Bergoglio will be known historically as the tyrant Pope. Well, I don't want to be in communion with a tyrant Pope and something that history is going to judge as a tyrant Pope. We've already had problems with history judging popes. It sounds like we were right. If the Pope is a heretic, sounds like we were right all along. And if a Pope is a tyrant Pope, it sounds like we were right when we were saying the See of Rome isn't indefectible. Okay. The man holding the keys is a burden, a placeholder until the restoration. I disregard him, but not the chair. This helps not to feel heavy-hearted, and I could say much worse. I thought that's what us Orthodox were saying. We say that we reject the person who's sitting in the See of St. Peter, but we don't reject the See of St. Peter. We accept the See of Rome, but just not the heretic who's sitting on the See of Rome. That sounds Orthodox to me. That's our view. I wonder if this Catholic has connected the dots and seen that we were evidently right all along. I guess whenever we say that we're not in communion with the Bishop of Rome, but we still maintain his see and communion with his see, we're just waiting for a non-heretic and a non-schismatic pope to be elevated to that see. I guess we were right. I don't think that I should be looking into Catholicism. At this stage, Bergoglio is a tiresome heretic. Well, it sounds like Catholics are really frustrated with Pope Francis, and I don't feel this way about my patriarch. So I don't know if I really want to leave communion with my patriarch to become tiresome and to leave one alleged heretic to be in communion with another heretic. By people who are saying that my bishop is a heretic and my patriarch's a heretic, but then they're telling me to go into communion with a heretic. Francis has already said that he does not want to be called the Vicar of Christ. I didn't know that. I thought that he just removed that title from a list, but didn't actually renounce it per se. That's interesting. There's no reason to refer to him as Pope. Well, if he's not the Pope, then who is? If he's a heretic and he's not the Pope and the see is vacant, or somebody else is the Pope, well, where do I go? And how do I become in communion with them? If there is nobody sitting in the see of Rome, then I guess I should stay where I am. Let's see here. Here's an interesting comment. Michael, you are out of touch with reality. You blame the frustrated Catholics, but never the liberal Pope or magisterium. The average Catholic does not read all the papal bulls or councils. They just see how terrible the Pope's actions are. Well, unfortunately, you haven't actually paid attention to my comments and to my videos because you're not accurately representing me. So maybe go and watch the rest of my videos. And whenever you've accurately represented me, maybe reach out to me through email and we'll talk then. reasonandtheology@gmail.com. Yeah, it's all over the place. Those are, again, just 22 screenshots. Just 22. Watch this video. This is an interesting comment, very brief comment from an Eastern Orthodox back in 2014. So back before they would have seen the level of vitriol that they're seeing today. 2014, it was bad, but it wasn't nearly as bad as it is. Listen to what this Orthodox priest briefly says about the Catholic Church.
One finds between Roman Catholics that one finds in the Catholic blogosphere today. You've got sedevacantists, you've got the Society of St. Pius X, you've got a number of opinions that are appearing. The controversy that is surrounding the current synod on the family is, to me, simply disgraceful. I don't know that the Orthodox, however, would be any more united on this subject. The fault lines that divide our churches now don't divide us along denominational lines. Divide us along ideological lines. And we have to begin to address this question in a real way.
So what the Orthodox priest is saying is that the Orthodox have a lot of division in their ranks, just as Catholics have a lot of division in our ranks. The Orthodox have a lot of ideological divisions, and it sure seems, according to the blogosphere, that Catholics also have a lot of ideological differences. That's, again, according to this Orthodox priest. Well, in his estimation, we would be asking him to leave communion with a group of churches that is struggling to deal with various ideologies to another communion that is struggling to deal with various ideologies. So for where he sits, we're not offering anything better. And then whenever we look through the comment section, are we backing that perspective up? That's what we should consider. What if an Orthodox were to scroll through our comment section? What would they think? What conclusion would they come? Especially an Orthodox who's studying the papacy of the first millennium. How would they make sense of what's going on today with Pope Francis, German bishops, and then what we're seeing from comment section? It's already going to be a difficulty for them to make sense of Pope Francis and the controversies in the Catholic Church with the first millennium. That's already a hurdle. However, that's what I often talk about on the channel, how it is that we could still say the claims in the first millennium are true in spite of some of the criticisms that we can make about Pope Francis and other bishops who are in communion with the Catholic Church. But that's already a difficulty because we have to really demonstrate that and substantiate that. So that's a hurdle to get over. But then we're adding additional hurdles where we're just confirming the Orthodox and what they've been saying all along. So we're just telling the Orthodox, hey, you guys were right. So why would they leave communion with their bishop and enter into communion with the Catholic Church if they were right all along? I guess they haven't really thought through that yet. It's probably the case that they're not even, I guess Orthodoxy is not even on their radar, or Protestantism for that matter. I mean, if a Protestant were to read these same comments, they would really feel justified. Well, we've been saying that the Pope is the Antichrist and the destroyer all along. We've been saying that the Pope is a heretic all along. We've been saying he's one in schism from the Catholic Church. We've been saying all that. Protestant would have a field day. So are we dealing with the current crisis in the church in a way that is consistent with with the Orthodox and Protestants, or are we dealing with it in a way that's simply confirming them? I'm not, as that commenter said, ignoring that there's problems with Pope Francis and others. I know that there are, but I don't think that they're in any way that would challenge the claims that are being made in the first millennium. But if you were to ask a Catholic in the comment section, they would be conceding that it actually is challenging, even not realizing it, but they would actually be conceding points that would invalidate the claims in the first millennium and would justify the Eastern Orthodox and the Protestants all along. Anyways, send me some questions. Go ahead and put them in the chat. At Reason and Theology at Gmail. I'm not at Gmail. You can email me too, but no, just at Reason and Theology in the chat there. Orthodox Boomer Grandma says, he's Orthodox, no long beard, dog collar. Just kidding. He is a very well known and very well educated Orthodox. He's the real deal. Expert in canon law. Father Erickson has an interesting book, The Challenge of Our Past, dealing with some challenges in Eastern Orthodoxy today. So I appreciate his honesty. Let's see. I heard of a bi-ritual Benedictine monastery. No, not offhand. What do I think about Mass of the Ages? I have not watched it. Did you want to address what Kwasniewski said about the Lofton circle on his Facebook? Somebody sent a screenshot to me because I'm blocked, but I don't think there's a whole lot to address. I don't think he was being fair. First of all, the things that one of their commenters was saying that I said in my video, I didn't. So that's, first of all, they were spreading misinformation. And then number two, seems like Kwasniewski bought into that misinformation without verifying first, and then puts it on social media, and then takes a shot at people who watch the channel, which I found to be distasteful. So it's about all I would really say about it. But what else is new? I mean, that's same old Kwasniewski. Let's see. There's a selection bias in this. Only the angry extremes seem to be vocal on these issues. So social comment section makes for a bad sample of actual Catholic attitude. I think you're missing the point. You're trying to tell me that this doesn't represent how a lot of Catholics are. I understand that. I'm a Catholic. The problem is, I am giving you a scenario where an Eastern Orthodox is scrolling through the comment section and I'm showing you the problems. Does that make sense? It's always interesting when people point out something that has absolutely nothing to do with the point I'm trying to make. Let's see. What is the name of the Orthodox Church that the Bishop of Constantinople is over? I'm not following. Are you talking about the Patriarchate of Constantinople? It's in Istanbul. How do you deal with not feeling sorrow or regret for sin? Now, that's an interesting one. I have to look to hope in Christ, hope in God's mercy, and God's faithfulness, because I can't say that I have hope in my own righteousness or something like that. I have to abandon myself to the mercy of God. And if God isn't willing to show me mercy, and he's a God who is not merciful, then I wouldn't have been able to please him anyway. So I abandon myself to his mercy. Let's see. Hallelujah says, but Michael, global warming. Is that off topic enough? You're getting it. I always get these comments on these videos. It completely sidesteps my point, and I don't get a whole lot of actual interaction with the things I actually say, unfortunately. How many converts do you know told you they hesitated before doing so because of YouTube comment sections? What a straw man. What a straw man scenario. I've had plenty of Orthodox tell me that because of the things that they're saying and the positions that we're already conceding, that's why I should return to Eastern Orthodoxy. And that's why they won't be Catholic. I've even had an Orthodox priest tell me I need to come back to the Orthodox Church. And you know what they pointed me to? This kind of stuff. This is a red herring anyway. But that red herring still is not in your favor. I think my point is still well established. Let's see. So Jose says, I get your point. I think mine is that maybe we're called to make this generalized attitude more visible, but this might be going to the Orthodox priest. Maybe we are. Maybe that's one of the things I'm calling us to do in this video. Maybe that's part of the rhetorical examples that I'm using to try to urge us to do that very thing. Maybe. I'm certainly not recommending that we behave that way in the comment section and say those things. So might it be that I'm suggesting the opposite? Should we, as you say, make a more generalized attitude more visible? I think so. But you know what? I will challenge you on this. Is it really the more generalized attitude? Not in my experience anymore. In my experience, the general attitude of the average Catholic now seems to be almost to that degree. You know, just short of saying he's a heretic, he's an apostate. That seems to be the average Catholic these days. So I think you might be misjudging the scenario, or I am, one of the two. Let's see. Is there a good way that you've found to reach out to people with these feelings? Are you referring to Orthodox Catholics or people who need to abandon themselves to the mercy of God? Maybe clarify that for me. To clarify, if there is an Antiochian Orthodox Church, there is the Russian Orthodox Church. Yeah, it would be, in that case, the Greek Orthodox Church. Thank you, Michael. Also, Mount Athos. I've been struggling with this lately. Thanks for the advice. Abandon yourself to God's mercy, because I promise, you can't stand before a righteous judge on your own righteousness. You just can't. Abandon yourself to the mercy of God and trust that he loves you and is merciful and will not turn away the contrite of heart. And he won't. Let's see. It was a question, Michael, not an accusation. Understood. I appreciate the clarification. When's the last time Pope exercised infallibility? Doesn't touch on our topic today. Some are going to argue Ordinatio Sacerdotalis. Others are going to say Manifestentissimus Deus, 1950. Let's see here. I just watched the debate between Ibarra and Dyer on your channel. Dyer seems to imply it takes one thing like a CC to destroy the church. I think rad trads are basically saying the same thing. Right. Yeah, I mean, I've been saying that a lot of the rad trads are converts for Orthodoxy in the making. Yeah. So how should we go about talking about the problems with the higher ups in the church without causing scandal? Number one, being charitable to our leaders, fair and accurate to them, not misrepresenting them. And whatever issues that remain, we need to realize it's not going to touch on the magisterium, so we don't need to straw man it. We need to address concerns that we might have with their prudence and timeliness and disciplines and things like that. But we don't need to start attacking the see itself, saying it's vacant, saying that they're a heretic or something like that. Especially the Pope. I mean, I could see an individual bishop being called a heretic if there's good enough justification for it. But I think the Pope, that's something else. Looking through the chat. Lots of Orthodox are getting pretty critical of our hierarchy. Yeah. There's a lot of Orthodox who are criticizing Orthodox hierarchy. That's certainly the case. And as you saw from the Orthodox priest I just showed, there's ideological divisions. There's all kinds of problems in Orthodoxy. Here's the concern, though. Here's the problem. We're asking the Orthodox to leave a set of problems to join another similar set of problems. Most aren't going to do that. So how about we not straw man our situation and we accurately represent it and show them what the objective difference between our communion is between the Eastern Orthodox churches. But we can't do that if we're saying the kind of things that people are saying and conceding in the comment sections that we see all the time. That's the problem. Jose says, thanks for engaging. I feel the papacy needs to be better explained. It's expectable to have a less than ideal pope every now and then. That does not make the ortho position better. That's true. I agree with you. I don't think that you have to think that this is an ideal pope. And I think that we can criticize the Holy Father. It just needs to be done within the proper bounds. That's my position. And you can do that in such a way that doesn't rupture our claims that we're making in the first millennium whenever we're telling the Orthodox that they need to be in communion with the Holy See. We can do that in a consistent way. What I'm saying from a lot of people is not going to be consistent. It's engaging in rupture, where it's not able to sustain the claims that we're making about ecclesiology. Let's see. In my experience, radtrads make bad Orthodox. Yeah, they're called orthopros. Not all Orthodox or orthopros, by the way. There's some great Orthodox out there. But then there are the radtrads who become Eastern Orthodox, and they're effectively what we would call the orthopros. Or Protestants who have that same kind of mentality as the radtrads and then become Orthodox. Some stay in hope. Some stay in hope that the next Pius is Pius the 13th, so they can jump ship back. Others find the exact same issues in Orthodoxy, and the loop begins anew. Right. I've been saying this all along. Right. I agree. Don't you think the Catholic commenting on a video of the Pope are usually the more extreme thinkers? But see, it doesn't need to be that way. Why can't we offer commentary and even criticism on some aspects of the Holy Father without going to the extreme? Why can't we do that in a balanced way? Why does it have to be that those who are addressing concerns are the ones who are the extremists? I find two things. There's either people not addressing the concerns at all, and that's a problem. And then there's people who address the problems but give us a problematic solution, and it would be nice to have a good and healthy balance there. It's hard to nuance a YouTube comment. Then maybe don't make it. That's what I'm saying. I mean, some things I don't comment on in the YouTube section because I know that this is a conversation that would require a great deal of time and words, and I just can't do that in a comment section. So some things I just refuse to engage in the comments. Orthodox Boomer says, I still don't see universal jurisdiction. Well, maybe go and watch my papacy playlist. I think you'll see it then. Or at least you'll see why we're claiming it. Orthodox Boomer says, I guess I'm an Ortho bro, but I try to be a loving one. I don't think you're an Ortho bro. Orthodox Boomer Grandma, I did not get the impression that you're an Ortho bro. You're not. I can tell you right now, you're not. If you're even watching this video, you're probably not. Let's see. How Orthodox do you think are actually scandalized by these comments? Kind of comments. I'm not understanding. How Orthodox do you think are actually scandalized by the? Are you asking me how many Orthodox are actually scandalized by these comments, or are you asking how Orthodox are the people in these comments? I'm not sure. The basic question is, what is the level of import that should be assigned to comment sections? Marshall was originally more alluring to me than his comment followers. Well, look, I don't put a whole lot into comment sections, and I don't think that anybody should, but I'm telling you that there's plenty of people who will see this and be confused by it. You might criticize them and say, well, you shouldn't go with comment sections. Okay. Are they even going to hear you say that to them? Or are they just going to see this stuff and never even hear you say that to them? They'll probably never encounter you or someone like you who would tell them that. And even if they did, there's now going to have a whole lot of questions. Well, there's a whole lot of Catholics saying that he isn't the Pope. And there's a whole lot of them saying that he's a heretic. Can you now help me with that? And so the problem's still going to be there. Let's see. In the social media world, it's very easy to criticize and have a mindset of negativity. Well, that's true. And unfortunately, a lot of people are different on social media than they would be in person. This is an ideal choice for a follow-up to the defense of uniatism, which was lit, by the way. Thank you. Hashtag Uniate Gang. I love it. Throw your setup. What's the, you have the different... you have the different ways in which you can do the the three persons, two natures that, you can throw your setup. Let's see. Hey, Michael, as a soon-to-be Catholic, I've noticed a huge anti-Catholic bias on part of my fellow Protestant students considering Orthodoxy. Mm-hmm. Where can I find primary sources about the ecumenical councils? I do have a playlist on the ecumenical councils, but if you're talking about like primary sources to read them, Tanner, Norman P. Tanner has a good English translation along with Greek and Latin of the councils. Hard to get those. So until you could get a hold of that, in the meantime, go to newadvent.org and you'll find under the Church Father section the first 7 councils there. And then also go to Papal Encyclicals, I think it's .net, and you'll find all 21 ecumenical councils there. And it is the Norman Tanner one. It's just Norman Tanner basically put online without the Greek and Latin. It's just going to be English. But you're getting Tanner's deal, his translation. Papal Encyclicals.net. And you'll find all 21 ecumenical councils there. So for primary sources on the councils, start there. That's not going to be the Acts. It's going to be mostly decrees, canons, constitutions. It's not going to be the whole thing. You're going to have to read the Acts if you want the whole thing. Okay. So somebody's asking me, well, what's the solution to all this? The solution is for us to not feed into this kind of stuff and not participate in that behavior ourselves. We can't stop others, but we can at least stop ourselves from doing this. We can also share good content on social media to try to offset it, but I know that we are completely outnumbered. The point, however, is at the very least, we should not be acting in any kind of way that's not considering, how does this sound to an Orthodox or a Protestant whenever we're commenting online? Because a lot of times we're not considering, how does my Orthodox brother or Protestant separated brother hear this? We're not thinking along those lines. We're just making comments, and we're not asking those questions. I have to ask those questions because I have to engage Orthodox and Protestants and everybody else every single day. So I have to constantly think of, well, how would somebody else hear this? And, you know, how consistent am I being? So at the very least, we can try to offset it ourselves by keeping those things in mind. And hopefully there will be people who are engaging in this kind of behavior in the comment section who watch this video, and it might actually help them. And hopefully there's also some Orthodox who are going to watch this and say, hey, there actually might be some content out there that's not this extremist stuff, and might be able to still consistently explain to me how the papacy is true in light of the problems that are going on today in the Catholic Church. And if you're one of those Orthodox, you want to watch my papacy playlist, watch my magisterium playlist, even watch my Vatican II playlist, and then Eastern Orthodoxy playlist. You're watching the content from those playlists. You're going to get all of the answers to all of your questions. I can imagine pretty much every question that you would have. I've done a video engaging it. There's just not a whole lot out there that people are generally asking that I haven't already addressed in these videos. And for the points that remain, I'm still doing ongoing videos addressing those as well. Michael, what are your thoughts about Coptic Orthodoxy? I really have a special affinity for the Copts. And it actually started when I first saw Father Lazarus L. Anthony living in the cave of St. Anthony of the Desert. They have some videos of him online. Really impressive to see his spirituality. And I love the Coptic liturgy. I've been to a Coptic liturgy before. Really drawn to it. Obviously, I'm going to side with the Catholic Church on some of our differences. But I can still appreciate the liturgy, the piety, the zeal, the love for Christ that many Copts have. I've had a Coptic priest on before, and I'm going to have another one on next month. Let's see. Okay. Have Enoch Elias back on. He's a cool dude. I really enjoyed that interview. That was a really fun interview. Yeah, he's Ethiopian Orthodox. That was a really good and fun interview. If you have not seen it, go and watch it. Really, really, really educational and just a really fun guy to talk to. So I enjoyed it. Let's see. I love Coptic Christians too. They're great. F2 says, yeah. I appreciate the piety and the zeal and the love that they tend to have for Christ. I think we could actually benefit from, emulating that. Okay. Let's see. The Ethiopian women took great care of my mom. That's cool. I grew up with Ethiopians in Israel in the absorption center. I was like the only white person there. It was me and a whole bunch of Ethiopian Jews. So let's see. I was the odd man out. Let's see. That was a really cool interview, especially about the Ethiopian candidate. Yeah, it really was. I really enjoyed talking to him. And I really appreciate Ethiopian Orthodoxy. It's very interesting. Very interesting. There's a lot of ways in which it's unique compared to others. Have I ever been to St. Michael's Abbey in California? No, I was recently in California, but I haven't been to the Abbey. I'll be in Costa Rica next month. And then after that, in October, I'm flying out for Matt Frad's show. I'll be on Pints with Aquinas, and so I'll be in Pittsburgh for like a day and a half. Maybe we can meet up then in Pittsburgh. I think he's in Steubenville, Ohio, but I'll be in that area, the Pittsburgh area. I call it the Eastern Catholic Mecca because you have the Byzantine Catholic Seminary and Metropolitan Williams there. So anyways, but if anybody's in Costa Rica, by the way, who watches this show, I think we have some people from Costa Rica who watch. Shout out to y'all, and hopefully I'll get to meet y'all next month. All right. Let's see. I think we'll leave it there. We're right around an hour. Appreciate y'all watching. Hope this was helpful. And like I said, there's plenty of stuff into dealing with these issues. If you're an Orthodox and you're confused by the stuff you're seeing in the comment section, I understand. My traditional Catholicism playlist will help sort out a lot of that confusion. And then I have the Papacy playlist, Magisterium playlist, Eastern Orthodoxy playlist, which will address pretty much any question that you probably have. And if it's a question that I haven't answered yet, I'm willing to do a show on it. Email me at reasonandtheology@gmail.com. I do take show requests, and I'm willing to do them. So just send them to me there, and see if I can get it on video. All right. Appreciate y'all watching, and we'll be back here in less than an hour with a show on the Roman liturgy with River Run. He's going to continue his series. So see y'all in just a little bit. All right. God bless. Oh, wait, before you go, I would really appreciate it if you would consider supporting this channel. This is my primary means to provide for my family, and it also helps me to produce content like this video. If you would like to support me, become a patron by visiting patreon.com/Reason and Theology. You'll also get access to extra exclusive content when you become a patron. Lastly, hit that like button and the subscribe button, and be sure to leave a comment down below. God bless.